I think we're on the internet, guys. Don't tell anyone.
No.
I covertly snuck into Super MC Gamer's channel. Did we make it? Are we here? I think we made it, guys. I think we snuck right in.
This reminds me of that time we were on couch. I'm pretty sure you were on the couch, Shadow, where like MC he had to go take care of some stuff with the hotel staff. So we were kind of making the light of it, like, Dad's gone, no rules, and we just like did dance couch party after dance couch party. Now this was like 3 a.m. when this was happening on New Year's.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Just kind of like he's not here. He's not on his channel. No rules.
No managers, no rules, anarchy.
God, that reminds me of a time that MC was like gone for a prolonged period of time at Zeldathon. So like the chat had made up a story that MC got like abducted or locked in a U-Haul. So we just had donations from MC locked in the U-Haul, but it was just people from chat just being goofs. Gosh.
It was an entire fake hostage situation, though. I remember that. That was that was super fun. Hey, internet, how you guys doing tonight? Welcome to another edition of the Zeldathon show. Those of you who are scrolling on into Super MC Gamer, wondering what in the world is going on. Yeah, we've taken over the channel for about the next hour or so, just hanging out and having ourselves a good time, and of course trying to push up the fact that Zeldathon Forces starts on December 27th at 4 p.m. Eastern, right here on this channel right here, where we're going to be playing a whole bunch of Zelda games. Novel idea, I know. And we're going to be doing it for a long time and try to raise money for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, which is an awesome organization that makes sure that kids who are going through life-threatening diseases like cancer and other such things are given the best chance possible to get through that and eventually just eradicate cancer altogether. I am joined by two friendly fellas by the name of Abra. Hello.
Howdy. How you guys doing tonight?
And Bassoonify.
Hello, hello. Top of the evening, and just realized top of the user list in all the Discords, because it's like Abra, then Bassoonify, the A's and the B's.
And then I'm way down below. Oops.
You gotta get that exclamation point Shadow Temple.
Fun fact, I used to do that for my Discord server before they actually allowed you to just manually move your servers, because I was tired of my server not being the top one on my list, so I just put it right there. Made life easy. But then they figured it out, and now all of a sudden I'm wherever people want my server to be. How dare they? Anyway, so tonight the plan is that we're going to be trying to just hang out and talk about Zeldathon's past, present, and future. Folks who are in chat, you actually yourselves can presently join on in and discuss at length your Zeldathon memories, as well as ask questions of any of the three folks that you see in front of you presently. The idea being that you can use this little thing. Yeah, there you go. Thank you much, Tylenos, for putting that in the chat right over there. That you can get yourself a question in there, and we'll kind of pick from those questions as we go along. But we'll start things off with a few little questions here and there. Starting off with let's go with Abra first. I guess since I am the person who is streaming, I'll assume host kind of privileges here. Let's see here. So first off, Abra, who actually are you? Like who are you really?
So contrary to popular belief, I'm not actually the Pokemon Abra. I am unfortunately not what I say I am on the internet. Now, who would do such a thing, lie about who they are on the internet?
I know. I knew I picked the wrong name on the Discord. I'll remember better next time.
Hey, maybe if we search long enough, we can find the hover boots together.
Fair enough. But what was the first marathon that you kind of got yourself involved? Not necessarily attended, but just like, when did you discover this whole thing?
So I discovered Zeldathon through an event that I run, Pokéthon, where during the first Pokéthon, which was called Pokemonathon, rolls right off the tongue, doesn't it?
Yeah, but it's got a nice rhythm to it. I like it. Pokemonathon.
So that first event that we held was basically just in my room back at my parents' house. Didn't even have a camera. And all it was just a 3DS capture card and playing games with Chip and Box. If you remember that
yes,
fun little tool.
because that's pretty much the only thing that allowed you to do such a thing back in the day.
Yep. So, yeah.
Don't we have one of those Pokéthons coming up sometime soon?
I do like
yeah,
myself a Pokéthon.
I think we might be talking about that a little later.
Whoa.
Ooh.
Well, we won't have our dessert first then.
No. We've got to get through the meat. So, yeah, that's how I got introduced to the Zeldathon community, was by a big raid and a big hug from Super MC Gamer and the amazing Zeldathon community, which went by a different name back then, but we don't talk about that.
Which one? Random Productions, Fun for Freedom, Zeldathon
That's the
Network.
one.
Yeah. a lot of names over the years.
But yeah, no, I was introduced to the community that way. You know, joined the forums because there wasn't such a thing as a Discord or a Skype. There was a Mumble. Joined all that and got to be part of such an amazing community.
Fantastic. Bassoonify, similar questions. Who are you? And how did you first get involved in this whole Zeldathon madness?
Well, according to Ganon11 in chat, it looks like I am 1/3 of MC, who has split himself into 3 components this night.
Correct.
You know, I was just looking at that, like, looking at the layout. Like, would it be terribly cheesy if, like, we were... There's always 3 people at Zeldathon show, right?
I mean, it's the Triforce of guests.
Like,
yeah.
what if the cropping was, like, triangles, and all you see is, like, your nose at the top? We're just forming the Triforce right there.
I would love to, but I do not have that kind of cropping magic afforded to me, unfortunately. I would love to someday. And I'll talk to Dark, and he can just like cut off the edges of the corners of this overlay here.
Someone like doing split screens, which I'm trying to avoid in the YouTube videos in the future because they're a pain. Triangles make for terrible framing of the face and basically any instrument.
but it's there.
I am Bassoonify, and I play bassoon. So I was introduced to Zeldathon by playing bassoon on the internet. I heard about a little convention that's not so little anymore, and it definitely wasn't little when I first got there. MagFest.
Mag.
MagFest. Not Killimags Fest. No Killimags, sorry.
Oh.
Just MagFest. And it was like, I came in a day late. Clinket and I were on a vacation. Clinket wasn't even personified as Clinket yet at that point. And she was like taking a little extra vacation. She went over to like London. And I'm like, I'm going to MagFest because we were like in Ireland at the time or something. And so I fly in the MagFest and I'm a day late and I'm like overwhelmed by the amount of internet people. It's like my first time meeting internet people anytime. So I was probably a little cringy, a little nervous, how we all are when we meet those people we've been watching on the YouTube and the Twitch for so long.
I say literally everyone's experience at MagFest, I'm pretty sure, is just feeling very, very awkward all the time.
Mm-hmm. So I immediately went to the bar, got a drink, and loosened up, and I was like looking around, and I saw 2 people I knew from doing the whole YouTube VGM stuff, like the music covers, which is kind of how I met a lot of these people. And it was Ryan Lafford and Stephen Morris, both who've been invited to Zeldathon, but
yes, they
haven't made it yet. Yeah, it'd be cool if we can get those musicians in there sometime, but schedules are hard. So they're like taking me, showing me around, and meeting a couple of people, and they're like, "Oh, let's go up to the Zeldathon room." What's a Zeldathon? Are they playing Zelda right now? I didn't know that Zeldathon sometimes rent a suite, and we went up there, and it was just a big old suite, and not everyone was in there quite yet, but I was greeted by a very happy and hydrated Thunderscott.
How hydrated are we talking about?
Yeah,
like
enough to where he didn't really remember our conversation that we had, but it kind of went along like the lines
so
of,
hydrated.
"Oh, you're Bassoonify, you play bassoon. Well, you should come play bassoon sometime for Zeldathon." And I'm like, "Oh, well, that's kind of cool." And I like asked him about it later, and he didn't remember me really at all.
Oh no!
Like, who's this person? Like asking about it, and I think like I heard he recommended me kind of on a whim, on not really remembering who I was at all. And he actually like said, he was like, "Bassoonify, I'm glad you're an okay person because I didn't know you too well when I invited you." I'm like, "What? You don't remember that night we had talking together?" My first night at MagFest. But
Folks, you gotta hydrate in moderation. Just make sure you hydrate, but you don't hydrate too much.
You're only allowed to specially hydrate when you're 21 years or older. It's an important it's important to make sure you monitor that hydration level, though. It's a secret meter that gets unlocked.
Just an extra one, just shows up right next to your health bar.
Yeah, so my first one was Champions, actually. So I've only been to 3 so far. The next one will be the 4th one. I'm excited.
God, it really has only been 3 for you, hasn't it? It feels.
Wow.
I feel like I've seen you there forever. You just kind of jumped right in, and you never really. Yeah, you never really let anything kind of slow you down. You just be like, yeah, of course I'll jump in a onesie. Of course I'll become a shark and attack people in a ball pit. Like, why not? I think that's kind of the only way to really embrace Zeldathon. But yeah, no, it feels like more and more people I'm meeting got introduced through the MAG Zeldathon room. That just seems to be kind of the the audition space here and there. Did you play any music in the Zeldathon room?
Nope, no, I didn't bring my bassoon at all, actually, to MagFest that time.
Fair enough. Yeah, I was the same. I think I've met a few people through just walking into the Zeldathon room at MagFest, and it just be, as soon as you open the door, it's just a wall of sound as like 15 people are playing instruments in a large room, but still just a hotel room.
Still a hotel, nonetheless, and
yeah.
Quite late usually.
Yeah, typically.
There's usually Furious Smash going on in the background as well, and all sorts of fun. That
and sleeping Smash players. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that, but like sometimes
I think that was actually how I first maybe saw Lyric. Like I remember like it was getting crowded that night. It was super crowded. Everyone was really loud. And I remember like someone behind the curtain like shoving a pillow between their ears and like trying to sleep behind like near the window, and I'm like, I feel sorry for whoever that is, but I think that might have been Lyric.
Yeah, no. Like some smashers who come to MAG just to hang out and play with other people, like they're not gonna pay for the hotel room. So like, yeah, I don't care, man. You have your party, you have yourself a good time. I'm just gonna sleep in the corner. Like the first time I went in one of those, I actually to this day do not know the identity of this person, but they were just wrapped up in the corner and they just try to sleep quietly, silently, motionless. Maybe that person was dead.
Some people will do anything they can for zero latency.
That is true. It's all about just being one with the machine. So, yeah, like when both of you kind of entered this Zeldathon world, like what were your initial kind of reactions to it? Because it's obviously both of you kind of came into it in different ways. When you're first invited and you like kind of got yourself integrated, what was that like? Just where's your mind at?
So when I first joined, like I was very new to the whole charity marathon scene. I'd watched it for years, but this was my first times actually producing and running events. So I came into Zeldathon St. Jude being like, oh man, this is a top of the line production. This is like the best like that's out there. Little do I know what Zeldathon's gonna do for the next 15 events forward is gonna blow the house marathons format out of the water.
It's the best. Every Zeldathon's the best Zeldathon until the next Zeldathon. Let's be honest.
Pretty much, yeah. But it was just sort of like a huge eye opening to just see so much that went into it and so many like new thought processes that like MC has always had like this amazing sort of like plan and layout and everything, and it just watching it as it has grown and changed has been really cool. And as it like adapts to the needs and how Twitch and how Zeldathon itself works, it's been amazing to watch it all.
I was really surprised with how big it was. Like you see, the couch tucked in the corner there on the screen, and you see whatever happens to pop in, whether it's challenge cam or now we do like the other couch with like the interviews and stuff, but like to see it all like laid out in one singular frame being your vision, it's like holy cow, there's so much going on. A lot of tech. It was really impressive.
Yeah, I think the biggest secret about Zeldathon is that it looks so simple for how much stuff is actually in that ballroom at any given time. But also, like, I feel like we are unique in. I feel like whenever you're like, if you ever stepped on like the stage of like a show that you really enjoyed or something, like it's always ends up being smaller than you think it is. Whereas with Zeldathon, I feel like that ballroom's much larger than I think any of the cameras really show. Like it just kind of keeps going. There's a lot of space to just. You can just kind of hang out in a corner and no one would really know you're there on camera until, I don't know, you speak up and then everyone's like, shh, listen. But
How many times have we found somebody just hiding behind like one of the curtains on the wall or under a table or just like hiding in a nested little like area behind where all the tech guys sit? Like there are just so many little fun nooks and crannies. I think for a time somebody like Smith was probably just playing Nintendo Switch behind the Christmas tree that's in there sometimes.
And you can do that without being spotted for like hours on end. Like it's just so many little nook and crannies that appear with that. Folks are coming in, by the way. Welcome to the Zeldathon show. We have ourselves yours truly, Shadow Temple. We got Abra and we got Bassoonify hanging out, just talking about Zeldathon's past, present, and future. If you have any questions for us three, of course, you can ask those questions via that link that Tylenos just so helpfully placed into chat right there. We, of course, are also looking at chat. And I'd be very curious, chat, as to what was your first Zeldathon memory as we're kind of taking down a trip down memory lane and just wandering on back through the 2010s. God, it's almost the end of the 2010s. Uh-oh. No.
Ooh.
That's scary to think.
You know what's scary to think is like this is a full decade where I have not been in high school. This is like 10 years of my life has passed since I was in that. I'm still having nightmares of high school.
I still have that one nightmare of like, there's that one class you didn't take, so because of the laws of high school, you have to go back and take it, but you didn't turn off your schedule, and you were missing the entire semester so far.
I have that dream except for college where, it's the same thing as like, oh, actually, we went back through the records and discovered that you didn't take this, you actually failed this high-level class. We just ignored it before, and now you have to go back. Also, you're 3 months behind, and you need to do all the homework tomorrow. It's like, I got away from this. I'm done with this 5 years ago.
Yeah, no, at some point towards the end of the dream, I have the realization of like, wait, I have a job. I own a house. What am I doing here?
Yeah,
and it's
like
oh, I'm awake now. Okay.
They won't notice if I didn't show up to class, right?
Yeah. Brains are jerks is what we're finding out, more or less. Stupid brains. Anyway, let's see here. Here's a good one. So speaking of brains and memories and thinking back, what was the first memory you had from like getting, like when you went to Zeldathon? Maybe not necessarily literally the first thing, like I walked through the door, but like what's the first thing that really stuck in your head? They're like, yeah, this is where I belong. This is what I'm going to be doing for a bit.
So I remember when I got to St. Jude. I got there a day before. That St. Jude was crazy because the day I arrived was also the day that everyone was kind of just trying to fix all the tech because that's when MC's computer decided that it didn't want to work anymore.
Yeah, I remember that. Good times. Good times.
Yeah. But I think like the first major thing I was involved with was somebody pulled me over in front of Challenge Cam and said, "Hey, Abra, do you want to get duct taped to Zach?" I'm like, I have no idea who Zach is, but sure. But sure, why not?
Sure, he's a fine fellow.
And then, basically we just got duct taped together and just kind of like spun around for a bit. And I kind of wanted, I don't remember if we went on to couch like that or not, but we had a good time. It was good.
Oh, TSG James has a good thing in chat. It's like, I'm gonna kind of play off that. Yeah, instead of did you get teeped together?
Oh, that's a good one.
I can only imagine like the amount of conversation that would go on, just being stuck to Zach for that long, especially for first impressions of him.
No, yeah. When I drive him to MC's house every like last time we were down there for the pre-fundraising thing that we did for last year, I can't remember. But like, no, he can fill 4 hours with conversations and stories and all sorts of good stuff.
Hey, you never really get to know somebody until you've spent a few hours duct taped to them, right?
Or saran wrapped, also for a couch.
True.
It's a good option as well.
True.
Couch Katamari, if you will.
Were you part of that as kind of one of your first experiences with the Bassoonify?
No, but I did have the pleasure of watching that from Tech Desk, I think, the last marathon. Oh, my first impression of Zeldathon, I just remember like getting there, and it wasn't so much of a I belong. It was my first thought was, oh, I gotta help, but I don't know how to hook up or do anything. I don't know how to be an asset. I
still have that from time to time.
Yeah. It happens a little bit less each marathon, as like, oh, maybe I did learn about where to place this specific object or to put this specific cable. But there's still those times, where it's just like, oh, we'll just leave MC to do his thing, hook up everything. But like, there comes like an anxiety of that a little bit because, like, back in the Marine Corps and the Army before that, like, if you weren't doing something, especially as the new guy, as the boot, you're gonna get in trouble. Like, so that was always ingrained in me. So I was just kind of looking around like, I gotta pick up something, I gotta do some like thing, and I'm like asking MC, he's like, no, it's probably best you just go somewhere else for a while and chill out. I'm like, oh, okay, if you say so. I think it says I still feel this way.
But sometimes I think that's kind of the best way to get into Zeldathon is just, that is to say once you're there. But like once you've gotten yourself into Zeldathon, you're there, like just throwing yourself in and being willing to try to jump into things, I think is kind of the best approach, because you'll end up doing some weird stuff, but you'll have a lot of fun with it and you'll just kind of enjoy yourself more for it. Like, the first couple times I went, like the closest thing I got to doing anything was just getting on Donation Station, being on there for like 8 hours, and then I'd be done. I'd be like, yep, that's the one thing I got. But like, everybody's got a lot more to offer than necessarily just one little space, and it's really fun to kind of allow people to get out there.
Yeah, no, it's definitely putting yourself out there in a way that you never thought you would. I mean, my first marathon, I was pretty tepid. I played seasons and, kind of just was like, hey, this is pretty fun. And then the next marathon, I showed up in red spandex. So
is tepid like a past tense verb of being attached to Zach? Are we still talking about that?
I am
wasn't what I was going for.
I am
but...
tepid.
Did you say tepid or did you say timid? Maybe I just misheard you.
No, I said tepid.
I said tepid.
I'm tepid. I have been tepid. I am teeped, and I will be tept. I think are the proper verbiage for that. All right, let's see here.
It'll be a test at the end of the show.
Yeah. Oh no. So Abra, you've been going to Zeldathon obviously for quite a bit now. What is in those earlier days back in Hat House and beyond, like we did, it's obviously Zeldathon looked a little different than it is these days. For a lot of instances, very good. Is there anything that you wish we grabbed from Hat House before we left to like bring into the modern era? Any sort of events or any sort of challenges or things that we used to do back then?
So something that I do miss, even though like I was only at one house marathon, home cooked food.
Yes.
Like of course we have people bringing in food occasionally at these events. People will make something from the moon and bring it to Mars,
and we appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, we love it. But like there's something nice about just like smelling macaroni and cheese in the other room that just gives you a weird energy that I understand that it has to go, and I understand you can't eat in the hotel ballroom, but dang, there are times where like you smell that warm Cinnabon, or you smell something like you just have an urge to make a sandwich, and sandwich is just a few steps away.
Astronaut food can get old. It's true.
It's true. They literally cannot get old, but it gets old to our sensibilities over time. Unfortunately, I remember, because MC still tells me this story. When we were in Hat House, for whatever reason, my first Zeldathon that I went to, I brought like a cooler full of stuff because I just figured that's what you do. You just bring like going to a party or like a tailgate or something. You just bring a cooler of stuff with you. And in there, I had the ingredients to make like a baked brie. I had like a wheel of brie cheese. I had like raspberry jam, and I had like a pastry bread that I used to put over it, right? And I cooked that in the oven there, and the rest of that particular marathon just smelled like baked brie for a good chunk of time. And MC will always tell me, yeah, no, it's the first time I ever had something like that, and I didn't like it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
But eating well, it really does make a difference from the beginning to the... You don't feel it right away at the beginning, but like, clone yourself, have one of yourselves, eat whatever, eat junk, and have the other one eat like a balanced diet throughout the entire marathon, stay there for the whole week, and they'll feel completely different, and your mood will change, your ability to stay positive, to keep the stress down, and you'll sleep better too. Like it's a challenge, but like it really pays off to really take care of what you put in your body throughout the marathon.
As much of a joke as hydrate is, it actually is very important that we actually keep up and drink our so many glasses of water a day and actually keep ourselves hydrated, because constantly letting our body filter out all of the copious amounts of sheets that we somehow find ourselves eating is good, because the more that lingers in your system, the more it's going to build up some negatives.
Yeah, no, I mean it's so tempting to just be like, oh, just go to sheets, just go grab sheets for every single meal that you pick up. But like, you gotta find you gotta eat a fruit on occasion. You gotta like eat a carrot or something, because otherwise you're just gonna have a miserable time. And sleep, all these things, so many important things to remember when you play video games for a week. As it turns out, your body's not designed for that. Oops. Oh, boy. Let's see here. What else we got going on here? Okay. Yeah, here's a fun one. So, we'll again start with Abra. What is your personal, like, favorite thing to do at Zeldathon? Like, whether it be a role or a particular, like, goal wheel thing that you do or a game that you play? What is just, like, the all-time, like, you are going to Zeldathon and you're like, I can't wait to do this thing?
So, like, there's the corny answer of I can't wait to raise money.
Correct.
Then the sitcom credits roll. But honestly, because like my job is very professional. I have to keep my life, I have to keep myself professional for 8 hours. I just like the fact that I can just go and be a big goofball on the internet with a bunch of my friends for days straight, and somehow people are like, "Yeah, I'll throw money at that. Yeah, that's fun."
Are you saying not allowed to wear red jumpsuits at work?
Only on Halloween. No, this year I was in the Sonic costume, actually.
Fair enough, true.
But yeah, unfortunately I have to maintain that professional demeanor, both when I worked for the school district and now when I work for the current place that I work for. It's very nice to be able to just take a hard break from that and be the other side of Abra.
How about you, Bassoonify? What do you like to get out there?
An itch to scratch, like be something dumb and crazy, which is like why I love like doing, I don't know, just anything dumb on camera. Like it's something that you just crave to do. You don't really get much of a chance to do outside of high school drama department, which was forever ago. For me though, my favorite thing I look forward to Zeldathon every 2 times a year is the music rehearsals, when musicians get together. And it's hard for me, honestly. I find it very difficult, but because I dope improv. I don't play with people very often anymore, being like just playing here in the room and on the TV, on the YouTubes or whatever. So one, yeah, playing with other people is fun, and two, like the whole thing of improv, like as a bassoon player, like I feel I wrestle more with my instruments than many other people get to. So the ability to freely improv, it's kind of the difference between like running with shoes and running with stilts, like because I still have to make my own reads, and the instrument's just not intuitive to just wiggle your fingers and go up and down the scale. It's really funky patterns, but then also just like kind of the creative part of it too, like this last marathon, having Doug and Ben from Disco Cactus out there, just like we'd be playing through something we played the same way over and over again, and Doug starts messing around, and then pretty soon we're quoting Toby Fox in there. Or we just take it in a way different thing, and like you're like, oh, that's never been done. We just kind of create something new, a new way to play something. And just seeing the way, you know, like especially when we get like a variety of instruments and people start to orchestrate, like, oh, okay, you guys sit out this part, you do this, we'll match these instruments, and it's just like coloring on the spot. It's one of my favorite thing I look forward to each time.
For sure. Yeah, no, and every time I walk past, like, because, you know, for those who are not in the know, frequent times before, of course, before the music groups come out to play on Challenge Cam, they're playing out in the practice and game and chill rooms for a while first. And you know that you're in for a treat when you walk past that room and it's just jamming with something. And it might be strange, it might be out of the ordinary, but you know that it's going to come out a whole lot of fun once it finally gets out of that room. As an extension of that, is there like, of the past couple marathons that you've been to, what has been like the favorite thing that you have played with the group?
I'd say that Breath of the Wild medley that Ben wrote while we were there, and we played it on one of the last days when we got the rest of the Disco Cactus crew in, and like we did like those boss themes, which are really fun and some really crazy parts, and we did the goal of we hit a certain donation goal during the medley, and we'll do an encore, which was Terrytown. And Doug had this really good speech about when everyone comes together to build something special, and you could see MC was tearing up, and it was fantastic.
Aww.
And then right after that, like Carlos like trolled him totally by hanging out behind the couch and doing the with the the Guardian sound.
Yeah.
I was pretty surprised how well a tenor sax can make, a pretty good Guardian sound, It just has that good tone for it.
I think we just need that, just sneaking in on occasion, just see if people react. Just like, it might be like Link's Awakening might be played, and then all of a sudden just on couch at like 4 a.m, just...
Okay,
we have big blue laser pointer.
Let's go, Abra. Is that a secret sound yet?
Ooh, that would be such a good sound.
Why didn't we think it? Well,
it's such a good trolling sound too.
Let me write it on my notepad real quick, and by notepad I mean Discord channel.
MC, can you hear us? We've got ourselves a new thing. There we go. The MC has approved it. We're all set to go. It's already in. It's already placed in. Also, hi.
It is kind of like the best way that a lot of things come apart in Zeldathon. Just like, oh, well, why don't we do this? Just like a spur of the moment decision. And most of the stuff you see is just like, someone just decided right there. We plan, and we do plan a lot. But
a lot more than we used to.
Yeah, that spontaneity really just kind of sparks some things when everyone happens to be there playing off of each other, and just some really fun, crazy stuff happens.
Yeah, no, and it goes both for the music and just generally Zeldathon, right? Like. Just so many weird creations out of either desperation or just idle minds just create some of the most memorable moments. I mean, like, God, there have been so many weird things that have happened at Zeldathon over the years just because we had like 3 props and we're like, you know what? We can do something with this. We can MacGyver this into like 10 minutes of something. And
no, that's the magic of Zeldathon is when you're at that point of like 3 days of no sleep. It's just, all right, let's just decide to do wrestling tonight, or let's have a nonstop Jan train, or let's have Dr. Professor. It's just so many things that come out of almost nowhere and become these amazing staples and provide so much great moments.
They really do. And like I think that's kind of what's super fun about Zeldathon is that like I feel like a lot of other charity marathons don't really have just that either space, time, or ability to just have that kind of freeformness to it of just throw something out there. We haven't done anything in a bit. Let's just toss some things on a camera and just see what happens. That's always fun to see. Speaking of which, folks, as you're coming on in, I did see a few people in chat be like, hey, what is this? I'm 13, not 12, because that's on Twitch. Don't. But Zeldathon is a charity marathon that we run every 6 months right here on this channel, twitch.tv/SuperMCGamer. If you want more information, you can go ahead and check out Zeldathon.net to see the history of Zeldathon, where it's come, where it's going, and of course tune in on December 27th for Zeldathon Forces at 4 p.m. Eastern, where we'll just play Zelda games for a week. And you can hang out, donate, try to help us push the cause of St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Right there, yeah. Thank you very much, Abra, for that. Let's see here. We're also asking questions. If you guys have any questions that you want to have asked on the air, be sure to use that link that Talanos just posted in chat just a moment ago. I can actually go ahead and look at a few of these. I got plenty more where that came from, but let's take a few viewer questions here. Starting off with Frosty asking for Bassoonify. Bassoonify, I love your hair so much. How did you achieve that level of magnificence?
I had never done things with my hair before. Really, that much. So in Clinket's stream, there is a community member that is a hairstylist, and for like a year, she was always saying, bleach your hair, do this, tone it, you would look good with silver, you do good as that. I'm like, for a while, I'm like, okay, maybe I'll try it. And she just sent me some instructions. I went down to Sally's Beauty whatever and got the toners and the bleach and stuff, and like did it, and it turned out really macaroni cheese Guy Ferrari brassy first. And then I kind of went through this like boy band phase because I just, you can see the contrast. It's quite dark. And my hair is super resistant to like any form of it. So I think this was like 4 sessions over the last year. I spread them out for a couple of months of like lifting and toning. And I think like I haven't done it since TwitchCon, since the last time I did it. I cut it myself too. It saves money. Doesn't save time. I'm getting a little faster at it. It's hard to get the back of your head. Like,
yeah,
I keep messing it up. Clinket I'd be like so proud of what I did. I'm like, Clinket, how does it look? And she'd be like, you look like you got a mushroom bowl cut from the Dust Bowl era.
Oh no.
So I do need to cut it soon. Actually, we do have a winter color coming up. One of the friend Passiflora, that's her name, from Clinket's community. She convinced me for a good winter color that I'll hope to try and do before Zeldathon. And if it doesn't work, then I'll have very short hair.
We're going to get a hint as to what that winter color might be?
Probably peach.
Ooh.
That's what they said. Peach is a good one, probably.
So, something nice and warm to keep it cold, or keep you nice and warm on Mars.
Yeah, it blends into the environment too of that red sand nearby.
It's true.
Oh, yeah, the camouflage aspect. Yeah.
Hide you from predators. It makes sense. Those Martian predators will get you. New attendees about that often enough, do we? The fact that like anytime you go, the fact that like anytime you go outside, there is a constant threat of you getting eaten by large Martian monsters. It just happens. It just happens.
It's so funny because at first they think it's Jackson, so it like lures them into like a sense of comfort and humor. And then when they're like, "Well, Jackson doesn't do that. Mandibles don't come from there," and we're like, "Oh, it's the Martian men again. Gotcha." We just laugh as they get decimated.
Look, Pepsi Man is certainly alive and well on the Martian surface, but no one really expects him to be part insect. It's just crazy.
But yeah, no, everybody thinks Jackson Brody's got like an elaborate kind of sense of style, but it is actually just method acting to make sure that he can survive going, because he's the one who makes a lot of the sheets runs for us. Is that he can just kind of blend in with the critters out there and then come back unscathed. It's amazing. He's a master of his craft. I really do appreciate the kind of work he does for us. They also sound like accordions.
All very true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%.
NASA, you got to figure this out. We have plenty of answers for you. You just got to talk to us. Let's see here. We got ourselves another question. This one from Abson. Let's see here. What is your favorite past Zeldathon, but I imagine it doesn't really work for present or future, Zeldathon meme/joke? Like, of all the things that have been invented over the sleep-deprived hours that Zeldathon may be, what is your all-time favorite just thing?
There's a lot to pull from here. Honestly, I kind of have to go with just one of the classics of I think we're gonna spin the duck.
Spin the duck. That
It came out of nowhere, and it was just this glorious. Like, I knew somebody was running on like 3 hours of sleep when they started it, but it just caught like wildfire.
And just I feel like it was so weird because it like evolved over the course of the marathon too. And like just it started with just like, hey, we've got this duck, let's mess with it. And then eventually someone had duct tape and a lazy Susan, and off it went. Like I think some of the best Zeldathon jokes kind of come out of that, but it's just a strange existence.
Much like the evolution of Jackson Prody as he adapted to his natural Martian environment, so too do Zeldathon memes grow and evolve, and it's a very interesting process to take part of.
Mostly out of the sake of necessity.
Right, that lazy Susan was supposed to be for like doing like this little like home shopping network, like, look at this amazing prize, like it was supposed to be like this really nice thing, and it just nope, it's for the duck now.
Is it? I can't remember if that duck still taped to that lazy Susan, or has it been freed?
Wasn't it retired?
I think so. I think that was an event.
About a meme Half-Life for how many marathons it has, and did he like let it go free in the pool, and not the pool, our pool, our ball pit.
But just like jean shorts, we just have to keep it around long enough, and eventually it'll come back in style, right? Right? Jean shorts are coming back in style someday, right?
The duck still swims in that ball pit to this day. Who knows when it'll be back?
True enough. How about
You
you?
can get lost in there forever.
Hopefully not. I mean,
don't drop a lemon in the ball pit, for the love of God.
What? A lemon?
What?
First of all,
I
the
forget
hotel would not allow that. But
I forget who that was, but oh my God, that was not fun.
What?
Is that sour smell just socks? Oh no, it's lemon.
It's lemon, and you'll never find
lemon
it.
And not socks.
That ball pit is surprisingly deep. You'll never find it.
No, it took us a good 30 minutes of just going through and just one by one taking balls out.
Yeah, that sounds like us. Bassoonify, what's your favorite meme or joke from Zeldathon?
Well, I may be a little biased, but
aren't we all?
This little guy?
Of course, little Steve.
And the whole Steve Sylvanian family.
It is built up over the years, hasn't it?
I wonder what we'll see this time. Who knows?
We have to see the expansion. It just has to keep going. I think for me, like I think meanwhile, like it's hard to almost pick any one. I think I just the appreciation of jokes never truly dying at Zeldathon. I think is more my kind of point or love of it, because I too just hold on to jokes far too long, well after they're even remotely funny, and then just hope that eventually they come back in style someday.
The concept of it all is really what's the best.
Yeah, the cheese hat. MC, that cheese hat is I don't even know if like there's parts of it that are still alive. Someday it's just going to be actual cheese. Like it's just going to convert into that over time. It's aged long enough. It's been in there since Zeldathon, since Hat House at the very least.
Yeah.
I didn't intend to turn that in actually. I brought that the first time I came. And I intended to bring that back with me, but it got in the prop set and it never escaped. And now it belongs to the sea that is Zeldathon. Don't bring things to Zeldathon, folks, unless you expect them to eventually be turned into something crazy. Let's see here. Hey, you know what? Abra, you said you were going to talk about this a little bit later. I think now would be a little bit later. With Pokéthon fast approaching, Leah Light's asking, can you sum up the next marathon in a few words? What's happening with that?
A brand new everything. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff. The tech team is actually right now working on a lot of the back end stuff, but there's a lot that's going to be new this time around. It's not just going to be playthroughs of the games. It's a new format on, new everything. And I'm extremely excited because it means there's designated sleep time.
That will be super nice. For those playing at home who have never seen or heard of this thing that we are talking about, what is a Pokéthon?
Pokéthon is a Pokemon charity marathon that I run. I am the executive director of the event. We've ran 10 marathons up to this point and raised $100,000. I was about to say $10,000, and I'm like, no, that's not nowhere near enough. And now this time around, we're doing something completely new with a bunch of really cool people. And it's going to be awesome. It's supporting direct relief. It is December 6th, 7th, and 8th from, if you're on Pacific time, 12 to 12. Or if you're on Eastern time, 3 p.m. to 3 a.m. And there's a bunch of really cool things. More than happy to have you around. It's supporting a charity that Zeldathon has supported many times before. It's good stuff.
Yeah, no, I when I first saw the first trailer for this new one, also that is a very large rat, I guess.
Isn't that like
Caterpillar
or something?
Yeah.
The cursed rat itself has appeared. But the first time I saw the trailer for the new marathon, I was like, wow. Like, if you haven't seen Pokemon on YouTube or Twitch at any point, you probably at least know one of the names going. I remember when I think it was, oh goodness, this because the trailer's been out for a little bit, right? Like it's
been out since September.
Yeah, I can't remember in what context we were showing it. Oh, it was at TwitchCon. The Direct Relief booth was showing off the trailer for it, and someone just kind of walked past, and knowing nothing about Direct Relief, knowing nothing about anything else involved there, he's like, "Oh, is this that guy?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, it is. What's he doing?" "Well, he's playing Pokemon, and he's going to be at this Pokéthon thing." Like, what's that? "Well, they're going to be playing Pokemon games, and they're going to raise money for charity." Like, oh, okay. And he walked away. But I think he'll tune in, maybe, potentially.
Hopefully. TwitchCon guy, if you're out there, this one's for you.
TwitchCon guy, please show up. Don't embarrass me in front of my friends. Let's see here. Oh, here we go. This is an interesting question. So this is another one from Leo Light. Outside of Zeldathon, after all the money that you guys raised and all that hard work that Zeldathon has done over the years, what's your reaction to seeing all those donations being used to help others like IRL? You know, we've heard stories from things like Charity Water, from what Direct Relief has been able to accomplish, of course St. Jude and others. Like what is your impression of like the kind of good that Zeldathon's been able to do so far?
It makes me want to go do it again.
Exactly.
No, it is like the reason for the season when it comes to like what we do. Like the whole aspect of doing the charity and raising money for people and the good things that it can bring. Like it's the reason why it makes me want to prepare a game run, or it makes me want to, get the musicians together and we do this. Like a lot of this stuff, like it's fun, but without a cause to do it for, I mean, probably really wouldn't do it,
I think there was a crazy moment where MC, it was just after the first Help Hope Live. I think that was Zeldathon Hope.
Yeah, Hope, yeah.
But Help Hope Live, like their offices were back where I used to live, back in Kanto. He messaged me and is like, "Hey, Abra, Brooke, Liz, and I are going to be over because Help Hope Live wants to like congratulate us formally at like an event." And I was amazed. And it sort of put like we went to this like really nice charity gala, and they did like a really nice presentation for MC, and they gave him this like award. And just seeing these people that had no idea what Zeldathon was, but were just so interested in it because they saw it, it put charity marathons in general into this new perspective of like, it's not just us. It's not just a bunch of nerds on the internet. It made it so much more real to see patients that were personally, that the aid we raised personally went to people that were at this event. That like it made an impact on these people's lives in such a way that was more than just, "Hey, I'm running around in spandex eating hot peppers."
Yeah, and I totally hear you on that, because when we get into our little hotel in a little town on Mars, like we kind of lock ourselves in, and sometimes we get snowed in, and that's just the end of our time, or the the end of our outside time for the week. And like we just see the number go up and we're like very excited about it. But you almost kind of lose track of like what this actually means, and you're just working so hard to try to make that number go up on the screen that you kind of forget about what sort of impact all those donations can actually make when it comes down to it. I had the pleasure of being able to go to St. Jude, what was it, back in 2018, back in like April, and just seeing the kind of work that St. Jude is able to do for all these kids who are, I mean, they're having a really bad time, you know? They're it's not a great point in their life. Their family's concerned and worried, and they want to make sure their kid gets through this. And just seeing the amount of work that St. Jude was able to do to help these kids along, whether it be, of course, helping them get better, but just also making them feel at home with the donations that people make to this. Like, it was really inspiring, and just trying to kind of get that motivation going again. Like, it was a real shot in the arm. It's like, we got to go back. We got to do this. We got to do it harder. We got to do it faster. We're going to make more stuff. And we're going to try to raise as much money as we can. But yeah, no.
Plinkett said exactly what I was thinking. Because back at Piece of Heart, when we started putting the videos in between, like, I didn't watch any of the videos beforehand. And after we played the first one, it just made you stop and think like, oh, that's what we're doing. Oh, that's why we're here. Oh my gosh. And it just really hit you. And I hope that the viewers at home get that. I'm sure you get that feeling too when we play the St. Jude videos in between the game segments. It's such a great feeling.
Yeah, just having worked with these guys for so many years and being part of Zeldathon, having charities be like, okay, well, here's our PayPal email address. Have fun, kids, too. We want you to come to the facility and see the impact that you're doing is just this major shift, and it's amazing to be a part of it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of charities have kind of figured out that this is a thing that can really explode if you let gamers kind of have that opportunity to raise for your foundation and explain why it's so important. People are so very giving on that, as we've discovered over the course of 25 marathons. They were 24 so far. It's been an incredible thing to see. And I think the thing too, like it of course, people on couch and on the cameras that you see at Zeldathon are super excited about the donations that are being made. And anytime someone donates even $1 or $5, people are like, yeah, that's great. But like, even behind the camera, both in the stream room and like off in the chill room and the game room, or even in their own respective hotel rooms, like, all of Zeldathon is always cheering on Zeldathon. And we're always excited to see any donation come in. And anytime that number goes up, like, people are excited, and we really are trying to, like, with all our hearts, trying to push this thing ahead and see where it can all go. I don't know about you guys, but like, every time I wake up at Zeldathon, the first thing I do is bring up the stream so I can see exactly how much we raised since I last was awake long enough to see what the previous one was. And it's not out of a sense of desperation, although sometimes the adventure system it was, but like these days, it's like, yeah, we got $7,000 more than I was last awake for. It was great. But we're as into it as you guys are as we're trying to get this thing going.
Oh man, the energy when Plinkett wakes up, it's like it's only gone up this much. I'm off. I'm off to set a goal.
We're getting in there. Got to throw ourselves in. We got to make it happen. No, I totally hear you.
MC definitely with the big mood of like waking up, seeing the totals really big, and then rolling over, going back to sleep. Like, yeah, they got this. It's like, oh, that's the good feeling of like, yeah, cool.
Absolutely. Or like, yeah, back in the day where all of a sudden someone would drop $30,000, and you're like, what? Huh? What? How? Good times. But even then, like, it just seeing those incremental changes is always fun to see. Let's see here. MC has a question for you, Abra, actually.
All right.
The question is, Abra, your new room is huge. What the heck? It's not really a question, it's a statement, but
So yeah, I got Johto Realty is pretty good right now, I have to admit. That's why I moved over to Goldenrod City for sure. The room, this is like, there's a sunroom back there. And that room is as big as my old bedroom, and that's just attached to this room. Like, it's crazy. This house is crazy, and I'm so happy that I was able to find a position out here that paid me well enough that I was able to buy a house, and I'm moving into your room. I could put up a wall in this room, and like literally this half of the room I am not using for anything right now. Like, all right, we're going on a trip, guys.
I'm ready for this.
Whoa.
Whoa.
So, like, there is a half of this room that is not being used right now. It is just floor.
Well, I am floored.
I say that looks like we could host another Zeldathon in there.
This house is built for like house-based events, but I have to get more guest beds and fix more minor problems before I feel confident about that.
Because people love living 30 people in a house at a time. Good times.
Architects had that in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Jototians?
Joe.
The
Joe
Joes
Star.
really had it all together, didn't they? Let's see.
The Joe dynasty.
The
Exactly.
Joe dynasty. Let's see. Here's a fun one. For both of you guys. Did you learn or experience anything at Zeldathon that helped you in your day-to-day life?
I learned a lot of AV stuff at Zeldathon that I would have never learned anywhere else. Lots of like production stuff, how to do proper lighting, how to run audio, how to do AV work, how to, build scenes, how to do much better. Like, don't ever look back at like Pokémonathon 1 or 2's graphic design because we don't talk about that. Like, I learned a lot through Zeldathon. That's not just how to raise money for charity, and that's it. There was a lot more skill sets that were involved that were really fun to learn. It also helped me put myself out there a lot more and feel more confident in speaking to not only new people but also just to a general audience on the internet.
Yeah, I actually hear you on that a lot because like I was not into performing in any way, shape, or form prior going to Zeldathon. Like, I felt very uncomfortable on camera. I felt very uncomfortable behind a microphone, and just by sheer like persistence and force of habit, eventually Zeldathon broke me into it, and now I'll never leave. Sorry, it's too much fun.
I had never known anything about speedrunning before I came to my first Zeldathon, and like when I was rooming my second Zeldathon, I think it's first Zeldathon, we were rooming with Gymnast, and I hadn't met him before, and I had never seen anything that he could do before. And I walked into the room, and my first impression, well, first he said like, "Greetings, comrade. Hug me." And that's how I always greet him now.
What an entrance.
My second impression of him was when he woke up in the morning. We all just kind of like woke up 8 a.m. or something, marathon day. He pumped out of bed and was like, "Forward roll out of bed," and just immediately proceeded to execute the forward roll, jumped into his pants probably, and was just off on his predetermined route to optimize his day. Then the third time I walked in on him, it was a good walk-in. He was doing the Pazu, right? The Pazu from Wind Waker, and he really like has the rhythm down, and is just Link's going back and forth, just about to shoot off to Dragon Roost without his trusty boat. And so when I first did my first run, I never thought about doing a run at Zeldathon. I was happy coming to the marathon and playing music and being a couch member, and I'd never really thought of submitting for a run. And Clinkit encouraged me we both sign up for Minish Cap last time, and I started like watching some speedrunning videos, started learning some strats, and like thinking about how RNG works from sword swings, and how there's all these things, these like little triggers in the game, and it just kind of like took open a game for me and just made me think about all these little things that work, and it made me think about how to play the game differently. Right now I'm preparing for a run, and it's like the most I've ever prepared a video game before, and it's going really well, and I've been practicing a lot. And I did not ever see myself doing this kind of thing. I hope you guys enjoy what's coming up with the run. It's gonna be cool.
Any sneak peeks? Any like little challenges that you've encountered while trying to practice that would potentially reveal what you're going to be doing?
Well, there's not a lot of info on this one, sad. Looking into this one, there's not a lot of info. But I am currently training a crack team to assist me with this under my leadership, and I'm sure we will be ready to impress.
Fair enough.
Excited to see.
But yeah, I felt the same thing when I ran Majora's Mask twice now. Like, just I never practiced a video game before. That was just something I didn't do, and it's a weird experience to be like, I'm playing this game again so I can get better at this video game so I can finish it faster. Like that. It's a very different experience from anything else that I've done in terms of gaming before, but it's a lot of fun once you kind of get into the groove of it.
It reminds me of practicing kind of like as a musician too, because you're not just going to do the game from start to end. Luckily, like with Minish Cap, you can do the save states and multiple saves on the Wii U. So like I would have different saves going on different times. Like, okay, today I'm going to practice from here to here. I'll do like whole part whole. You do a whole, you focus on the parts that little tiny things, and then do the whole thing. It's like, okay, today is this. Like, so I think like practicing as a musician and learning how to slow down, how to give yourself internal feedback really helps to build up a run. And Doug Perry was sharing the sentiment with me too for his first Zeldathon run, which was last marathon when he did Twilight Princess. He felt very much like a musician reading sheet music when he was reading his notes, which he had actually hooked up to a pedal, much like he does for his sheet music with his anything for marimba.
It's a good way to go about it.
That's pretty smart.
But yeah, no, it's always a kind of a magnificent experience to try to get running that game as best you can, and then more importantly, also then just watch other runs. I'm very excited to just see what everybody's cooked up, because I think this one above a lot of other marathons is going to be weird in terms of the games, and I'm so excited for
There's
it.
like,
oh yeah,
no normal runs. Everyone's doing something crazy.
And I
know.
And I'm so excited for that, because when Zeldathon first started, like it was enough to just play a lot of games in a row. Like that was a novel, new, crazy concept of like, oh man, you're gonna be playing video games for like 2 days straight, and like you're gonna play them from beginning to end. That's so crazy, man. And now like people do that on like a daily basis, just on their normal streams, and so it's really fun to like just think, okay, it's time to just get weird. Where are we going with this? And I'm so pumped to just kind of see where all these things go.
It's pretty cool to tune in like each year as a viewer to like, the game's not going to be the same each time you watch it from year to year. So there's a reason to come back and watch every run that you physically can.
Yeah, physically can, but also sleep, guys. Sometimes, please. I see you watching out there right now. Get some sleep, all right? I know it's the winter break and you got some time off typically, but like, make sure that you take care of yourself as well. We're going to try to take care of ourselves. Make sure you take care of yourself, huh? Please? Looking right at you. I see you there. Anyway, let's see. What else do we got going on? Oh, here's a good one. So, with Zeldathon, the fun, another big fun part about it, and it doesn't really necessarily come up as often as we experience it. It's a very international sort of marathon. We have people from all over the world coming in to join us on all sorts of the zany, weird things that we do. Let's see here. It was Arnold Schwarzenegger Batman who asked this particular question here. Saying, with Zeldathon being so international, do you recall a funny, like, culture clash between yourself and somebody else as they kind of, especially as a lot of Europeans and folks come on over towards the US so we can then go to Mars, of course. Is there any experiences with that you've had?
I think the most memorable moment of anything when it came to Zeldathon and culture was when Rosie first saw snow for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
And she ran outside, like, in shorts and a t-shirt. It's like, it's snowing! and just bolted out of the marathon room. And it wasn't even like a heavy snow, it was a flurry. But she's like, I'm making a little snowball! I'm making a little snowman! Ah! It was great.
Rosie, for those unaware, one of our Brazilian friend at Zeldathon. Yeah, it's because we get plenty of snow on Mars. Don't worry, we're gonna find some.
Mhm.
And
I'm
yeah,
sure
that
she
was...
came in with those rosy cheeks as well from the cold.
Ooh.
Oh no! How about you, Bassoonify? Any
I would say, I'd done a bit of travel and such before Zeldathon, so there wasn't too much striking except Canadians. Our friends in the north. They have all these weird words like washroom. What? Are you gonna go wash yourself? Foyer. Okay. And that's it.
Those are the two.
So strange, those ones.
They're just Canada filled with washrooms and foyers. That's all it is. If you ever been, it's crazy. And Tim Hortons, but you know.
Their washrooms have foyers as well, perhaps. Who knows?
And the foyers have washrooms.
And there's probably a very polite person there to welcome you every time you walk in.
I'm sorry, Canadians. I know we have some of them in chat. I'm sorry. I'm sorry in advance. Let's see here. We got a few more along here. Some questions that maybe we aren't always specifically the best people to ask, but one was from, let's see here, Killamaz. It's like, how are Zeldathon charities chosen? I guess we have a little bit of experience as to kind of what we look for in charities. Ever, do you want to, or especially even Pokéthon, if you want to explain, like, what do you look for when it comes to a charity, and what makes you excited about the charities that we do work for?
So we usually use a website called Charity Navigator, where you can go through, and it's a great service. They go through and they check out the history, the financial history of charities, and see how much is actually going to the cause, how much goes to overhead, how much goes to advertising, things like that. And it gives them ratings based on those factors. And so basically, the more stars a charity has, the better their record is at distributing the wealth properly. Of course, there are other factors that go into that. We usually try and get in contact with the charity, try to see how receptive they are to this. Some charities decided to start making gaming programs, makes our lives a lot easier, like St. Jude and Direct Relief. There are just a lot of factors that go into it, but usually the first stop when we hear a charity and it's like, okay, that sounds interesting, we usually check out Charity Navigator.
Yeah, I think that was one thing that came up, especially earlier on, was like MC was always wanting to make sure, and of course MC, you can kind of confirm this with this, that we always want to make sure that the charities that we work for are efficient with the money that's being given. You know, you don't want to have a charity that like takes in the money and then just uses like 50% of it towards the actual cause that they're advertising, and then the rest goes to like overhead, like administrative fees and things like that. And that's something that comes up a lot with things like St. Jude, Direct Relief especially. They're very good at making sure that a vast majority of the money that you give goes to exactly what you gave it for, and not much of it ends up in the hands of anybody else, which is a big part of that.
The whole charity world was very new to me coming into Zeldathon, and I've noticed, you hear all these great charities. I heard about Direct Relief, and I'd never heard of these people before. Like, you never hear about this out in the civilian world or whatever. And why is that? And, like you're saying, they're not spending tons of money on their advertising. And that's why, you don't hear about them, I guess. I don't know. But, it's kind of interesting that way, that, those are the good ones.
Yeah, and it's always kind of a harsh divide there, right? Because you want a charity to be heard about enough to actually get the money that it needs to do the right thing, but they also have to try to balance that with not spending that money to find themselves out there. And so it's always an interesting divide there. And we love being able to kind of trumpet whatever work or whatever organization we're working with as much as we can, so they can keep on pushing along there, which is always good to hear. Let's see here. I'll kind of adapt this one a little bit from Sleuth Sloth. MC has, of course, his own reasons for wanting to start Zeldathon and all that, and how it's kind of growing over the years. But what made you two want to join Zeldathon? What was like kind of that crowning moment? Is like, yeah, this is something that I want to do. I see something in this that I think is really intriguing to me, and I just want to get in there.
So yeah, I've always like enjoyed watching charity marathons, and when I finally decided to dive right in, the Zeldathon community just being so open in arms of just like, hey, we know you're new to this, we want to make sure you're running the most amazing event, and them accepting like me and my strange little event and happily helping it cultivate into what it is now, and being so supportive about it. I was so happy that I was able to contribute back to such an amazing community, and that I was like so happily recepted and, you know, brought into the fold so quickly. And I more than anything want to see, you know, my friends and this amazing effort continue to flourish.
I feel that many of us were always trying to find ways to help and to be, you know, what's something greater than me that I can do to make the world a little bit better. And, you know, that's a thought that always comes in our head. And seeing Zeldathon and seeing, oh, I have some of those skills. I like video games. I like music. I like production a bit. I like being dumb on camera for a cause. Well, I'd like to be a part of that, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree. I too enjoy being dumb on a camera, especially when it's for a good cause. Normally it's fine too, but if I can actually turn something good out of it, then that's even better. But yeah, I think that attracted a lot of us, right? Like we all have very similar interests in terms of like playing games and hanging out with nerdy folks and things like that. But it's so nice to be able to kind of feel like you're doing something that's bigger than yourself for it, and I think that's what attracted a lot of us, and we're so happy and grateful and glad that we have that opportunity to be exactly that, be something that's greater than our own individual selves, and go into something really, truly awesome. Folks who are watching, we're going to be wrapping up here in just a few minutes, but if you have any other last-minute questions you want to ask, make sure that you're submitting those questions to the link supplied by Tylenose there in chat. We are, of course, talking about Zeldathon's past as we get ourselves into Zeldathon future with Zeldathon Forces coming up on December 27th. It's coming. December's coming faster than you guys think. And we're going to be streaming, of course, a week worth of Zelda games for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. It's going to be a wonderful time. We're going to raise hundreds of thousands of dollars for charity with any luck, and we need your help to do it. If you want any further information, make sure you go to zeldathon.net. Check out all the social media and all of that to get yourself on in there. Donimation asked, name the next Zeldathon. Zeldathon Forces. There you go. Answer the question.
Yay!
Actually, here's a question for you guys. If you had control over what the next Zeldathon was going to be named, what singular word would you tag on a Zeldathon in order to make yourself a new marathon?
There's a lot of good words that you could pull from like the Zelda lexicon, like the.
I like
Zeldathon,
MC's thinking.
Nap time, yeah.
Zeldathon medley.
Zeldathon medley. Very
Yeah,
nice.
It brings up a lot of different thoughts about maybe a collection of things, and of course it's music oriented a little bit. But you know, there's so many ways you could take it. You know, even in a culinary direction.
Yeah, I get you.
There is a lot of potential on that one. We're feeding MC ideas. Oh yeah, Tylenose with a big suggestion in chat, but I actually want to see it happen, so I'm not going to say it out loud.
If you say it, it's never going to happen.
That's why we allude to it. But no, I would love to see more. I would love to see more Piece of Heart events. So
Yes.
the next Zeldathon would be Piece of Heart 2.
Yeah.
I want to do something like that because hopefully over the next year my schedule and my vacation days free up a bit more. I would love to be, you know, able to help out at a Piece of Heart event and be able to join in something like that. I think that'd be really cool.
And the best part about Piece of Heart is you guys get to come too. The chat, all of our friends get to come and see us, and you know, it's such a. It was a little interesting at first, like once we got to realize, oh, we are in front of people, let's interact and enjoy each other's company, and it was a totally different feel.
Yeah, no, that was I wish upon the rest of Zeldathon to have an opportunity to try Zeldathon Piece of Heart, because like just having that experience of having a live audience out there, and like also just being able to spread the word to nerds who like Zelda games. Be like, hey, do you know this? We have this marathon that we do every 6 months, and we raise a lot of money, and we have ourselves a lot of fun. You should check it out and say hello, because we had a great time with it.
Yeah, no, like.
Yeah.
From what I heard of you guys, like they had to constantly keep pulling chairs away from other events because so many people wanted to watch them, like watch Zeldathon.
Yeah.
And that just like, I know we get thousands of viewers and the lovely people who are constantly there, but I dang, I don't know how I'd react to just, going up on stage and being like, hey guys, you see me in person as I walk around in spandex. Oh God.
Yeah, no, it definitely has a very different element about it, but it's fun kind of feeling that really live crowd energy. And like some people just camped out and that was their day. They just skipped the rest of MomoCon. They're like, this is who I am now. I'm just sitting here and I'm watching the Zeldathon happen in real time. That's it.
Zeldathon Con coming soon to a theater near you.
Shh, that's part of the 5-year plan. But hey, we've got ourselves, speaking of that, we are going to have a little bit of a treat there for the first time of kind of a Zeldathon in front of an audience. Because in addition to, of course, the regular attendees, we got a few friends that are joining in for the fun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for those unaware, we are going to be, because we have the money-making game documentary coming out around that time. We have friends who are joining us thanks to because they're generous Kickstarter backers. Watching the marathon in person, which I think is going to be really, really cool. And it's just, I don't know about you guys, but even just like whenever we're at the hotel and someone on Mars also just passes by and they've never seen it before, it's just fun introducing people to this stuff. And like,
not as fun keeping them out if they're really getting eager to get in there.
Especially if they're significantly hydrated.
Sometimes you get the nice Mars families that are like, oh, what's this? Okay, cool. Well, good luck to you guys. And then sometimes you get the family that's like, drop the kids off at the pool. And then they just have free reign over Mars.
Yeah.
Or the parents that are like, my kid likes video games. Can he pop in and play a few rounds?
Can I just drop him off for an hour or two here while I go to the Hotel Mars bar, please? Yeah. No.
How much money do I have to donate to go inside and play the game? Asked a dude once.
$50,000.
We'll consider it at that point.
I was say, I'm actually, this is a question for MC. How much money would someone in real life have to donate in order to just be allowed on couch? How much would you accept to be like, yep, here you go, on you go, have fun, thank you so much? I'll wait for that answer in a little bit here. But
have fun. Please watch your mouth.
Please, just make sure you keep it PG. Everything's good. $250,000.
The bar has been set.
God, I'd do it for $1,000 myself, but I get it. I understand.
So Scott Cawthon, if you're out there,
we would invite Scott Cawthon on couch in a heartbeat, right?
Yeah.
Start saving up your pennies, kiddos. Oh boy. Let's see here. Let's see. Any advice that you have for the folks who are at home right now who are like, man, I want, I might contribute to this Zeldathon. I got a little bit of time between now and then maybe to save up, but I'm not sure as to whether or not I want to like really kind of get myself involved. It seems like a lot of work. Any sort of like words of wisdom that you want to provide?
If I didn't get involved with Zeldathon, I wouldn't be in the house that I am currently in. Like, the Zeldathon charity community, like, all of this stuff. Like, if I didn't get involved in charity gaming in general, I would not have the life that I have now, where I live with a bunch of friends, where I own a house, and I am my own man. And like, you don't know where your life could take you, but definitely be involved in good communities. because you never know where those good communities can take you, but it's usually pretty good places.
Yeah, for sure. No, like just again to the point, like I was never somebody who thought they'd get into voice acting or chatting with just people in a normal open space. I'm very much an introvert a vast majority of the time, but like Zeldathon gave me that opportunity to open up. But just also kind of that notion of just being able to do something good with all this. That feels really good, I think, above anything else. Any thoughts or words of wisdom, Bassoonify?
Yeah, like, so the question is, why get involved with Zeldathon? I think everyone here probably wants to watch, at least, right?
Right, but also to the extent, of course, like donate. Like, why should I donate? Why should I kind of get myself just into this ecosystem? Why even bother? Why even start?
Well, I think definitely, if anything, if you've never, I imagine that there's not very many people here that haven't watched Zeldathon, but if you're on the fence about getting involved, hey, we've got the winter break coming up, and many of you are gonna be in between school semesters. You might not have many of your friends around you. Maybe you weren't able to go home this year, or maybe those family members that you haven't seen for a long time weren't able to come. So if you're feeling a little down and you could use some company for that one magical week, log on in any hour, any minute of the day, and I'm sure you'll definitely find a couple of friends on the couch or in the chat. Come hang out with us and have a good time, at least.
For sure. And just one thing too is that as they come in and hang out with us, like, even if you don't have the ability to donate, like, your presence being there helps us attract more eyes. Like, the more people we have in that space, the more people that will attract to that space. And as a result, we can get more people in there who can then also donate. And then if we can keep getting those people donating and spreading the word and getting on social media, drawing fan art, doing all sorts of crazy stuff like that, we can help spread the word from there. And I think it's kind of a real snowball effect that even if you don't think you yourself are doing a whole lot to contribute, you're contributing more than you think. And just by you being there, having that stream on, just leaving it on in the background throughout the week, it can really help us out.
Spam emotes, they give me energy.
Truly.
Tastefully.
Especially if you got Steve kicking around.
I love the fan art. Oh my gosh. Doug's fan art, during Doug's run, gave me so much life that last night of Zeldathon. It was so funny. With like the Mewtwo's and the nose pass and like the cutting off the hair. The fan art is the best part about Zelda. Okay, it's not the best part, but I mean it's one of the many
definitely
things
one
I
of
love about Zeldathon.
Well, it's a highlight for sure. I never knew I needed Jiggy in a maid outfit fan art in my life, but yet somehow it happened last time around, and that was pretty neat.
Did we need it though? Did we?
I mean, there are some times where you just need to have a sensible chuckle. I think it's a good time.
Absolutely. I actually one of my favorite things, my favorite additions to like the Zeldathon like overlay system was being able to show pictures on stream with like between dog pics. Like we had sometimes just like show your pet, and we just show a bunch of dogs for like an hour. Or again the fan art that
I was on tech desk during that pet, the cat and dog spam, and people were submitting them so fast that it cut off the list.
Oh no!
I wasn't able to get to the ones at the bottom, so they had to send them again, which cut the rest off.
Oh no!
And it was this ongoing infinity of too many pets. I loved it, every minute of it.
But yeah, between that and the fan art that we get is just it's a really fun thing to see, and just weird that the strange times that we have locked in a hotel ballroom for 7 days like turns into that, and it's always fun to see. All right, I think I don't have any other questions here on the list here. Let me give me one more check here at the last second. Anything else that you guys want to chat about before we head on out?
What video games y'all playing?
I've been playing Sword and Shield. I've been having a lot of fun with the raiding in wild areas, but storyline, I did a big review on Twitter. Storylines, meh, but the gameplay, though. Gameplay is good stuff. So like if you want a Pokemon game that's got good gameplay, some people are in for the story. Like I would say definitely Sun Moon for the story if you're looking for a good Pokemon game with a story. But if you're in for the gameplay, rating is so hot right now. It's good stuff.
Yeah, no, my Marissa, she's playing Pokemon right now. To that end, this feels like an important question and did come up. This feels like an important question and did come up. Abra, it might be an easy question for you, but what are your favorite Pokemons? Just not sure.
I can never put my finger on it, huh? I couldn't pick one. They're both right up there.
It's a real toughie.
I gotta say, why focus on training all these Pokemans when you can train your body with the Ring Fit? Who cares about searching for shinies when you can get your body shiny, glistening with sweat after a day's workout?
Oh yeah!
Feel the burn.
Cream of the crop.
No, that game's fun. I've been playing it. Pokemon's probably fun too. I've been playing the Ring Fit every day. It's fun.
I think I need to get that because I think it'd just be fun to just start swinging myself around with a giant ring.
Yeah, I was surprised, and I think it's great. Like, if you're not if you don't know much about fitness, like it's pretty good at like introducing you to a lot of things, always reminding you about posture, giving you tips about being healthy, and I think it's a really good, accessible way to get people into it.
Yeah, probably get more use of my Wii Fit balance board, which is currently holding up a computer downstairs, so it's not sitting on the carpet.
Yeah, that's sitting underneath a lamp back in my parents' house right now. God, such a brilliant idea that I used for maybe like 2 days.
My favorite Pokemon is he was holding up my reflector thing. This one is my favorite Pokemon, I think. I got it right?
It's close enough.
Yeah, that counts. Sure, why not?
Boom Bubble Puff.
And my favorite, as always, is Shroomish because he is the angriest little mushroom boy, and he will forever be my very own. And that's also because it's the last Pokemon game that I played. I gotta catch up at some point.
I mean, you did play Sun and Moon at a little bit at Jiggy's apartment.
I did, and I met my new favorite angry boy, Toucannons. Good times.
Yeah.
He's so angry. He's so pissed. Like, like he's done a triple shift of tech at Zeldathon, and someone's like, "Hey, can we get some help over on Challenge Cam?" And you just that stink eye, like, "How dare you? Can't believe you've done this to me." Good old Toucannons. Anyway, yeah, I think that'll pretty much do it for us here, folks, tonight. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us this evening. Do you guys want to what are you going to be doing between now and Zeldathon? Any fun shameless plugs that you can provide here? I'm sure at least one of us has something.
Well, I've got Pokéthon in December 6th, 7th, and 8th, but also my birthday is on Thanksgiving, so I'll probably be streaming on that day because everybody in town is out, and I'm not going to just make food for myself, so I might as well just stream like an idiot on the internet for a long time. Have some fun times with that.
Nice.
I have a big list of unfinished YouTube covers that some might get done before Zeldathon. I'm trying to work on it, but right now a lot of it's on pause because I'm trying to finish up an application for grad school that's due at the end of the month.
Oh man, what's the plan? Like, what are you shooting for?
There's so I live in Baltimore, and Peabody is a pretty fancy music school, and they have a master's in recording and production, and I'm a little like, I don't know. I think like a lot of the anxiety comes from not knowing where you stack up because it's been a while. It's been like more than a couple of days since I graduated with my undergrad, and then like a lot of the skills I learned about audio and production were while I was in the Marine Corps, and you feel like every little task you do is like takes the intelligence of eating a crayon whenever you're doing anything in the Marine Corps. So it's like you don't always quite know, but a lot of people have been helping out and reaching out to me, and I think I got all my cards in order. So we'll give it a good old college try. And if that doesn't work out, then I don't know, try something else.
Literally a good old college try. I don't think I've ever actually heard that phrase used for applying to colleges. Good times. Well, it's appropriate.
The amazing Zeldathon community and all of us are here behind you all the way.
Yeah, we support you.
We want to see you get that master's.
And just become. I mean, right now you're Bassoonify fiend, but we want to see you become a Bassoonify master.
Next
Doctor Bassoonify.
Doctor, please.
Oh,
Someday.
Bassoonify.
I like it. I like the sound of it. Please. And
what do you have up there, Shadow?
Yeah. And then I will be doing my usual thing where I stream every night around 9 p.m. Eastern. And right now I'm playing through. Actually, after this, I'm going to take a little 3-minute break, and then I'm going to start streaming up some Outer Worlds, which is a fun FPS RPG thing where you roll around space and you fight capitalism. It's a thing.
There's so many good games that came out.
There are so many good games.
It's not even fair. Everything came out at
I
once.
know. I've been trying to go through them, and it's taking a lot of time. I heard there's a cool Star Wars game, and I don't even have time for it. I got to go do other things.
I swear all these games came out, and I think I've seen Jiggy stream every single one of them.
Yeah. No, he's been swinging hard on it. But Riz and I just finished, and this one's going to be weird as I show this, Luigi's Mansion 3. We had ourselves a fun time with that. That is getting a little weird there.
There's a hole in your
box. There's a hole in
the
box there, truly. But that was super fun and a great game. And then I traipsing through Outer Worlds. I've done Disco Elysium, which is a fun RPG lately. And then all of a sudden, I'm going to immediately drop all the new games and start playing Skyward Sword, because I've never played it before. And I think I should probably finally do that. So that'll be starting tomorrow for me. And should have a lot of fun with that. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching here. Thank you, too, of course, for joining us here tonight. I hope you guys had fun.
That's no problem. Do we want to make a Triforce in the middle of the screen real quick?
Let's see if we can pull this off. I'm watching this on a delay right now. Let's see if we can...
So I know that I'm also, reverse cameraed.
Yeah, that'll be the hard part. Let's see if I can just form a nice little triangle here. And just go like this.
I don't know. Wait, what am I doing? I thought I was, making a triangle. How do you do it?
There.
We're making a Triforce, so each one of us makes a triangle.
But I'm on push to talk. I can't.
Uh-oh.
I have the same problem here, so I'm just like, bide my time. Yeah, close enough.
Yeah.
I think we got it.
I do love the cropping. You made me look like I'm in a nice little theater curtain.
Yeah. No, in all the, beautiful things that 30 seconds of cropping can afford. And thank you very much.
Yeah, you hid the dirty laundry in the side of the room. Thank you.
Yeah, there you go. And thank you very much, Starfall, for the raid. That's super kind. Welcome, Raiders. We are literally just finishing. But we appreciate your time spent here and heading on over. Starfall, thank you so much. I'm actually going to be heading in my own channel here in a second. But before we go, once again, folks, especially as you're rolling on in here with this new raid coming in, once again, we're here because we're trying to show up for the Zeldathon, which is starting up on December 27th. Trying to stream games for a full week while we try to raise money for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, an awesome organization which ensures that kids going through some of the hardest times in their lives due to, unfortunately, life-threatening diseases and various cancers are given the best possible treatment to make sure that they can get through it. Because through St. Jude, the idea is that no family should ever have to deal with this situation. And so they want to make sure that all kids are covered for treatment, travel, housing, and food as they go, because all that their parents and families should worry about is just making sure that their child gets through this. So any donations that you can give through that are all 100% going directly to St. Jude. We don't touch a cent of it, and we make sure that we can try to do as much as we can for them, because they do so much for the rest of the world. To that end, I think donations will be opening up towards the beginning of the month. We will be doing streams throughout the month in order to try to raise or get that total up before we even begin the main marathon proper. I'm sure I will be doing some things for Zeldathon. I'm sure plenty of other members will be doing similar things as well. And of course, If you are also looking for more marathon stuff, be sure to check out Pokéthon coming up at the beginning of the month as well. Plenty of charity stuff to pick up on, plenty of some wonderful things to encounter. Be sure to get out there, stay on Twitch, check things out, and help us raise money for a good cause. Thank you once again, guys, and have yourselves a good rest of your night. I'm going to go stream on my own thing. Bye.
Have fun.
Great night. Thanks for coming. Thanks for hosting, Shadow.
Not a problem.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.